Hi Hogs and Herons. Today we're going to look at converting pennies into pounds because some of you have been finding this a little bit tricky and understanding when it's 5 pence where you put that, when it's 50p where you put that, and you just be making a couple of mistakes on the quizzes. So we're just going to go over that. But if you find this really easy, don't just sit there and do the whole thing, find it really easy and get it done in 2 seconds. Have a go, see if you find it easy. If you find it easy, send me an email and I will give you a proper challenge to do and see how you go on. Okay? We're going to start by looking at these 3 values and why it's important to have the zero, have the placeholder within our number. So what are these 3 numbers? Well, we've got £1 and 5 pence. We've got £1 and 50 pence. Now this one, which is what some of you were writing in your quizzes this week, this is very confusing because we don't know whether this is £1 and 50 pence because it's in the place where 50p would go. Can you see this 5 is here, this 5 is here. It's in the place of where 50p would go. But in order to be 50, you need a 5 and then you need a 0. So in order to be 50, you need a 5 and a 0. So it almost looks like it's 5p. Now, what would be the confusing point of putting this on if you were trying to buy some sweets in the shop? If they put 1.5 on a label, you wouldn't know whether you had to pay £1 and 5 pence or £1 and 50p. So when we write numbers, we do not write them this way. We have got to make sure that if there are pennies included, there are 2 numbers after the point, so that we know whether it is £1, how many £1, how many tens there are. So in this case, there are no tens. There are no 10 pennies I need to use, but there is 5 pence. And the same with here, £1 and 50p. And I know that there's nothing else after the 50 because they've put the 0. And this is something we need to be really careful about. So I'm going to say some numbers. Get a pen and pencil ready. And I want you to write these. And let's see if you get them right. I'll write them here. So I would like you to write, first of all, £1 and 4 pence. So you've got here £1 and 5 pence. What does £1 and 4 pence look like? Write it now. Okay, so I've got £1 point, because now I'm going into pence, and 4 pence. I haven't got any tens, and I've got 4 pennies. So my number looks like this. Okay, next one. Can you write for me £1 and 44 pence? Are you writing it? £1 and 44 pence. Okay, let's see what that looks like. £1, that's all I've got, £1. So then I put my point, almost like a full stop. That is the end of pounds. I haven't got any more pounds. That's the end of pounds. It's almost like a full stop. £1 and 44 pence. So I've got 4 tens, 4 ones, 44 pence. Okay, next one. £1 and 40 pence. £1 and 40 pence. What does that look like? Yep, it looks like £1. Oh, that's a 2. £1, 44. £1 and 44 pence. Okay? Can you write for me now? £2 and 9 pence. £2 and 9 pence. So I've got my pound sign. I've got £2. That's the end of my pound. So put my point in. And 9 pence. So I do my 0 because I haven't got any tens. It's just a 9. It's not 19. It's not 29. It's not 39. It's just a 9. And then I put my 9. £2 and 9 pence. Last one. Can you, for me, do £22 and 2 pence? £22 and 2 pence. £22 and 2 pence. Okay. I do my pound sign, and it's £22. So 22, that's how many pounds I've got, 22. I then put my point in. I haven't got any tens, and I have got 2 pence. So have a go matching these, matching the £6 and 5 pence. What does that look like as real written money? What is 65p? Which one is that? What does that look like in real matching money? So have a quick go at matching these up. Okay, hopefully you've had time, or if not, pause the video now Let's have a little look at the answers. So let me grab my pen. So £6 and 5 pence. So I'm looking for something that has a 6 on the front of it. So that one does. That one does. That one doesn't. That's got a 5, so it can't be that one. That's got a 5, so it can't be that one. That hasn't got anything. So I know it's going to be one of these because one of these has got a 6 now. That I can see is a 50. That I can see is a 5 because it's got nothing in its tens column. So that one must match to that one. Okay, 65 pence. There are no pounds. So I'm looking for something that's got no pounds. No pounds. That's got 5. That's got 5. £0. So let's match that one up. Okay, £5 and 60p. £5 and 60p. Well, that one has got a £6 in front of it, so it can't be that one. That's £5 and, oh, that's, yes, 60. So that's a 60, and that's 06. So that means that's 6 pence. And I'm looking for £5 and 60p. So let's match that to that. Okay, £6 and 50p. Well, this one's £5 and 6 pence, so it can't be that one. And that's £6 and 50p. So that must go all the way across. There we go. So this one didn't match to anything, so that one's crossed out. Okay, let's look at this one. So I'm looking for £0 and 48p. Well, that's got pounds, so it can't be that one. That's got £2, so it can't be that one. So 48p. Okay, and golly. This is £1.35, so I've got £1 and 35p. Or I've got £2 and 9 pence. So let's match that to that. And that must mean £2 and 9 pence comes over here. Okay, brilliant. Next up. So we're now looking at pounds and pennies, because I know that, again, some of us have found this tricky. How many pennies are in a pound and converting between the two? Now, this is just something we need to know, but it might not be something you use a lot in life, but it is good to know when we go on to adding and take away and finding change. So let's have a look at this. So we know that £1 is equal to 100 pennies. They are the same. £1 is the same as 100 pennies. If someone came up to you and said, would you like £1 or 100 pennies? Doesn't matter which one you pick. You're getting the same. This one might be more annoying though, because you've got 100 pennies rather than just one coin, which is £1. So you might go for that option. So we know that £1 is, when we times that £1, is the same as 1 penny times 100. And that's what's happening. £1, when I times that by 100, I will be able to convert that into pennies, because I'm converting my 1, I'm timesing it by 100, and that is 100. I'm timesing it by 100, and that is giving me my 100 pennies. I know that £2 is equal to 200 pennies. I know that £3 is equal to, what do you think? 300 pennies. I know that £4 is equal to 400 pennies. See, it's easy. And I know, slightly harder this time, that £12 is equal to 1,200 pennies. I know that £13 is equal to 1,300 pennies. And I know that £22 is equal to 2,200 pennies. So you can see here, always timesing by 100. This number has been times by 100. But there's almost like a little cheat here, isn't there? It's the same if you just get rid of the dot. So 2 becomes 200, 3 becomes 300, 4 becomes 400, 12 becomes 1,200, 13 becomes 1,300, 22 becomes 2,200. Okay, Let's quickly look at it going the other way. So we've looked at pounds into pennies. Now let's look into pennies back into pounds. So here I have got 457 pennies. Now we know that we need 100 pennies to make £1. So how many pounds can I get from this? How many pounds do I have? Well, I need 100, so I'm going to be looking at my hundreds column because I need to know how many hundreds I have. So let's just separate this out a little bit so that we can see the individual columns. Okay, so I can see here I've got 400, 400s, 5 10, so 50, and I've got 7 1, so 7. Now I know I need 100 pennies to make £1. So here I have got 400s. So I know I can make £4. Now 50 pennies, that's not enough to make £1, so I've got 50 pence. 7 pennies, that's not enough to make £1, so I've got to keep them as pennies. So we can see here that my hundreds becomes my pounds and my tens and ones becomes my pennies. Let's look at that with a different number. Let's have a look at 598 pence. So again, let's put this into a bit of a place value. I've got my hundreds, I've got my tens, and I've got my ones. Now, again, I know I need 100 pennies to make my £1. So in my hundreds there, I can see that I've got 500. So that means I've got £5. 9 and 8, they're not hundreds, they're in the tens and ones, they don't make 100. If I have 98, that's not 100, that is lower than 100. So that must be my pennies. Let's have a look at this next one. This one is a little bit trickier. So this next one, let's have a look at what it is when it's 6,799. So 6,799 pence, that's what I've got. Now, this isn't then just my hundreds column. I've got my thousands column. Let's separate these numbers up a little bit so I can get them in different columns. I've got my thousands column, I've got my hundreds column, I've got my tens column, and I've got my ones. So I can see here that I've got 9 ones, 9 tens, 7 hundreds, and 6 thousands. And it works the same again. I can see that I've got 700, so those are my pounds. But in 1,000, I've got 10 hundreds. So I can see here that I would have 67 pounds because there are 60 hundreds in 6,000, and there are 700s in my hundreds column. So I've got 67 pounds and 99. Those of you that have noticed this little trick, basically the little trick is that you put your point here between the hundreds and the tens, and your pound sign goes in front of the whatever column you've got here. Again, between the hundreds and the tens, again, between my hundreds and tens, that's where my point goes. Between the hundreds and tens, 598, 598. It's as easy as that, converting between the two. You always have two numbers after the point in money. You have 99p. Anything higher than that, and it'd be a pound because it would be over 100. Because 99 is the number before 100. So you have those two, 1, 2, and then you put your point in. So, I'm going to give you some to have a go at. The first 4 of each set are relatively easy. So if you, and pretty much what we've just done. So do the first 4 if you're feeling like easy mode. If you want to go a bit hard mode, do all of them. Pause the video here and have a go. The answers will be up afterwards. Pause.